Okay, my question is, what's the difference between factor analysis and confirmatory factor analysis? Because from what you have just shown, I understand that what you have done so far is factor analysis.
Can I now explain?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Now, if you go to SPSS, let me go to analyze. Just look up at my screen. Analyze dimensional reduction. Factor analysis. The essence of dimensional reduction is to tell you that it is that analysis that helps you to cut down on the number of items that you have. Those items that will not allow you to achieve the aim of your hypothesis testing. Remember, if I had wanted to do a descriptive statistics analysis, maybe where I want to show the mean standard deviation, this is already okay for me. You can see that the items 1 to 11 is okay for me. I have already achieved the reliability. I'll simply come and write it in my study that I've achieved the reliability. But you can see that when you want to test hypotheses, it's a different ball game. So you need to use a dimensional reduction to now feature those items that are doing well. Those items that are good for you to now proceed to test your hypothesis. So that is the essence of factor analysis. Now, if I want to see the factors influencing this, that, you can now confirm that these are the items that are actually contributing to work placement learning. These are items that are contributing to learning self-efficacy, and only these 3 items are contributing to leadership skills. Who is having any other challenge? You can raise hand to get the floor to comment.
I want to confirm, can one test for only one factor?
Yeah, you can do one factor. You can do one factor. For example, let me show you what happens here. For example, in this study, I'd like to show you a particular study. You can check individually to know whether they are meeting the. Of course, I have done that a couple of times in some studies. Yes, that's basically what I do. I check the factors one by one. I don't like merging all the factors because it helps me to see the individually, scale by scale, measurement by measurement, how that particular item is loading, how that particular scale is doing. Like I said, right? If you want to do a factor analysis, okay, what you need to do is check whether you want to do exploratory factor analysis or confirmatory factor analysis. Whether you want to do exploratory or you want to do confirmatory, the real truth of the matter is that you first of all need to come down to dimensional reduction. Exploratory factor analysis is when you have developed the scale yourself. You have removed the scale, you have found the scales yourself, you developed the scales yourself, either from interviews you have conducted, either from a qualitative study that you have done, and you have gotten these, you have developed these items from the responses of the participants, or from literature reviewing previous studies, and you're able to now develop this scale yourself, okay? So when you have done that, what it simply means is that you need to do an exploratory factor analysis. So when you come here, now please look up here. When you come to this point, dimensional reduction under factor analysis, under rotation, instead of checking principal axis factoring, you will check principal components. Principal components is for exploratory factor analysis. But because in this case, we are interested in confirmatory factor analysis, which is that you have already adapted scales, measurement scales from previous study. Please, colleagues, let me show you something. Permit me to share this. If you look at this paper, you see under measures here, he said the validity and reliability of the scales in the present study were estimated using confirmatory factor analysis with time 1 data. And the criteria were as follows. This is comparative fit index CFI, Tucker-Lewis index TLI, and then incremental fit index IFI. It has to be at least above 0.9. And then degree of freedom divided by the chi-square divided by degree of freedom must be less than 0.3. And then this particular standardized root mean square of errors or something, I can't remember the full name, must be less than 0.08. And then the root mean square of error approximation must be less than 0.06, in line with this Hugh and Bentler 1999 and Bryan 2012. Also, we need to also check the convergent and discriminant validity, as well as the composite and reliability validity calculated. Now look at this. Now look at this. He said this particular factor here, which is faculty-based supervisor support, this was measured by adapting. Look at it, adapting 5-item information support subscale of the career-related teacher support scale, SANC. So which means that this particular item, these particular 5 items here had been developed already, validated by this particular author. So it is a renaissance when you tell your students, or when you want to publish your own paper, you go and begin to develop your own instrument in addition to the paper you are writing. That's a lot of job. And that is why editors will consistently throw away our papers. Is that clear? So now you will now have to write, the response from this, of course, this was the response is 1 equal to never, like strongly disagree, to 5 always, which is equal to like strongly agree. And then a sample item was my factor, which I always emphasize. You can see personalization of items. Personalization of items. My faculty-based work placement learning supervisor explained to me the prospects of my profession. This was one of the 5 items adapted from here. So you simply need to list only one. If anybody is interested, you go to this reference, you go to this particular reference, and then you will see the items. They are there. The authors validated them and listed them for you to adapt them and conduct a similar study in other contexts. Now, the original scale had, you need to report at least the Chromback. Now, in this present study, the 1-factor CFA, this was what Mansour Bello or Izuchukwu or somebody asked a question, whether you can do a single CFA, confirmatory factor analysis. So for 1 factor, which means I checked individually, one scale. I didn't mix all of them together. I checked them one after the other. Okay? So you can see he yielded this measure. This is called model fit, based on this measurement by this author. So you cannot test hypothesis and claim that you have found cause and effect if you do not meet this threshold in your study. And this is why 99.9% of our papers from Nigeria get rejected from publishing in top journals. I don't mean pay as you go. I mean quality journals, right? So you can see, so in this tutorial today, we are going to check this, we're going to do this and check it in our studies. So that is what we are doing. So the process of checking this model fit measures is actually what we are doing. But to help us, to help us faster check them together, we can decide to now check them 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1 as you want. Okay, any has, is it any has a question, so you can ask a question.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, where are you joining from? Which school?
Yeah, I'm from Benson, Dausa University.
Okay, that's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah, you. Yeah, my question is this: is between the distinction between Verimax and Promax. One,
Okay.
Because the distinction you made, what I know about them before now is the different assumptions they are having. One is orthogonal in nature, while the other is not. But you are saying now that is when we are doing when we are doing factor analysis is when we use one.
Not when we are doing factor analysis. When we are doing confirmatory factor analysis, you know, we have not really done confirmatory. We have not gone into confirmatory factor analysis. We are just doing factor analysis. Are you getting the point I'm trying to make? We have not gone into the analysis yet. We are still prepared. This is just a preparatory grant, right? So if you want to do factor analysis, you can check it. You can use any assumption. If you want to do exploratory factor analysis, when you have the items, you need to choose principal components, and then you go to use Verimax under rotation, right? That is on the assumption. But when you have already, because the essence is this, the instrument that you have adapted had already gone through exploratory factor analysis elsewhere. Look at this here. Look at this here. Look at this. This scale that was adapted had already undergone exploratory factor analysis in the study. So what you are doing when you have adapted that instrument is to do a confirmatory. There's no need to explore again what somebody has already explored and make the threshold. So that is the rationale.
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you.
Good. So that is the rationale for doing confirmatory factor analysis. And please remember that in one study, most times editors reject papers that do exploratory and at the same time confirmatory in one study. That's no point. So what you need to do is adapt an existing study that has already done the exploratory far away, and then now use it, and then use it to now do your confirmatory factor analysis.
My prof, can I ask a follow-up question?
Right. For instance, now you made mention that if you want to design your own instrument, in short, you say it's a job to design your own instrument. If I get you right.
No, I said if you want to develop an instrument for testing a study. For example, let me share. Hold on, let me share you where we got this instrument. I'm going to show you a paper where we adapted that particular scale that was used to measure that study. Okay, International Journal of Educational and Vocational Guidance, published by Springer, Development and Validation of Career-Related Teacher Support Scale from China, data from China by Zhang and Co. in 2020. So what they did was simple. They did exploratory, they explored having adapted the instrument, and then they confirmed it in China, they explored and confirmed it in their country. So what I did was, what you need to do is that if you are doing a similar study, what you simply need to do is adapt this scale. Look at the scale. Look at the scale here. Let me go down to the scale. Yeah, you can see. So you can see the CFA, the EFA, exploratory factor analysis, and this was the CFA, confirmatory factor analysis of the scales. Look at the scale. Factor 1, enhancements of self-exploration. Factor 2, informational support. Factor 3, emotional support. And these are the items. These are the items. Now, at the end of this study, Look at it. These are all the analysis that went on. These are the analysis to confirm, to explore that instrument, to develop the scale. You can see them here. You can see the analysis that went on. You can see this is a process of developing the scale and ensuring that these are the items. Okay. You can see where they listed the items here. So it is your duty as a researcher, when you conceptualize your research title, to find out where to adapt the instrument to measure your scale, to measure the variable that you intend to measure. Is that clear? So look at it. So you can see factor 1, which is enhancement of self-exploration. My teachers at my school, college, university help me identify my strength and weakness. So you can see one of the instrument that the items that we adapted. Okay, so what you need to do is that you simply adapt this instrument and use them to collect your data. These items here will form the item, the instrument that you will use for data collection. This instrument, yes, simply copy this, adapt it. If you simply look at our own study here, you can see that we simply adapted that one of the, it's just adapt, see the 5 items, there are 5. You adapted that 5 item for informational support. This is instrumental support, and stuff like, so you will keep on adapting. Like if you come here, you can see career deficit, like from career decision self-efficacy. This was measured by using the 25 item career decision self-efficacy scale, BESS, 1996, and you can see them. Self-esteem, you can see where we adapted the self-esteem scale, 10 item self-esteem by Rosenberg, 1965. Okay, you can see student career certainty. This was measured using the career certainty scales, OSIPO, 1976, and PESH, 2014. 2 items career certainty subscale, OSIPO, and then additional three career certainty scale by PESH. So this is how when you adapt these scales, the next thing you do is now to put it into your study and do a confirmatory factor analysis.
Okay.
The reason is simple. Yes, you don't need to go back to do exploratory again, except if you want to develop a scale for your own. If you are, for example, in the field of, let's say you are in the field of entrepreneurship, and you want to develop a scale for measuring student entrepreneurial learning in Nigeria, you want to develop a scale, then what you need to do is you develop you now have to, from literature review, from conducting qualitative study with the use of interview, which you must first of all publish. If you go through ZANG, if you go through the first paper on the adaptation of this development and validation of instrument, you will see that if you read further, you will see that ZANG et al. First of all conducted a qualitative study where they interviewed some group of students on teacher-related support, career-related teacher support that they may likely need. And then they now grouped them into 3 factors. Enhancement of self-exploration, informational support, emotional support. And they now went on to collect further data to now run exploratory factor analysis before they are able to now develop each of these scales, each of these items here that you are seeing. You can see this one, informational support. You see it? This is it. Okay. This is it here, okay? And so they also did it in their own local language, in their own Chinese language or thereabout. So I hope that answers the question so that we can move on.